Hello everyone! Thank you for joining us for this new Burda style video. Today we will be presenting the model 5B, which can be found on the cover of the issue Burda Easy number 5 from September to October 2022. This is a timeless coat that will be perfect to make now, just before the temperatures start to drop. With its rounded collar and inseam pockets, this piece will become a wardrobe staple. We have chosen to sew this coat in an organic ivory wool fabric, which you can find on the website of our partner Sewn. However, feel free to change up the color or type of fabric to create a style of your own. As far as supplies goes, you'll need matching thread, pins, a sewing machine needle, a hand sewing needle, sewing scissors, a tape measure, a pencil or chalk, a pen, a ruler, a tracing wheel, Burda style tracing paper, interfacing, and snap buttons. And don't forget to take your measurements and compare them with those in the chart in your magazine. This will help you find the best fit for you. Now cut out the pieces from the pattern sheet and place these on the fabric according to the cutting layout. Transfer the outline of the pieces onto the fabric and then add the allowances and notches. I am using a tracing wheel and tracing paper to transfer the lines and notches onto the opposite side of the fabric. Before I remove the pins from my cut pieces, I carefully place the paper underneath the fabric and then run the tracing wheel along the pattern and over the notches. Don't forget to cut out the interfacing for pieces 4 and 6 as well as the facing for piece 1, which will press to the wrong side of the pieces. I'm using the Elma Experience 570A sewing machine to sew this piece and the Elma Extend 864 Air Overlocker to neaten the edges. Now the first step, the darts and pockets. I fold the front piece right sides together and place one dart line over the other by pinning the fabric. Stitch the dart and tie the threads at the tip, either with an automatic stitch on your machine if this feature is included, or by tying the threads by hand. Now here I press the dart down. I place each pocket on the front and back pieces, right sides together, and pin them along the side edge. Make sure that the notches match up, then stitch the pockets in between the notches. Now I press the seam towards the pocket. I then place one pocket over the other, pin them, and stitch. I neaten them together, neaten the side allowances, and neaten the back and front shoulders. The second step, the side and shoulder seams. I place the front piece and the back piece right sides together and pin the side edges. I stitch them starting at notch 2, making sure to leave the pocket entrance open. Then, I backstitch each end. Now I press the seams open. I place the front shoulders on top of the back shoulders, right sides together, pin, and start stitching from notch 1. Now I press the seam open. I then place the allowance of one facing on top of the other, right sides together, pin, and stitch. I press the seam open and neaten the outer edge of the facing. Next step, the collar. I lay one collar piece on top of the other, right sides together, pin the front and outside edges together, and stitch. I trim the allowance, clip the curves close to the seam, and turn the collar right side out. I press the seam and top stitch it 7 millimeters from the edge. Now I place the collar on the neckline right sides together. The piece with the interfacing is on top, and then I pin the front edge of the collar, making sure that notch 4 matches up, and that the shoulder seam matches up with the collar notch. As you can see, I folded the facing at the fold. Then I pin it over the collar and neckline and then stitch the neckline while holding onto the collar. I clip the curves of the allowance just before the stitching and then press the facing fold and the neckline seam. Now, the fourth step, the sleeves. I make a larger stitch to 4 millimeters on the sewing machine. Then I make 2 stitches to each side of the sleeve line of the sleeve head between the indicated notches, leaving the threads at the end of the stitches. I neaten the sleeves side allowance, fold it in half lengthwise, right sides together, and pin the allowance. I stitch starting from notch 6 and then press the seam open. Now I neaten the sleeve hem, press it to the wrong side, and top stitch it 3.5 centimeters from the edge. I then gently pull on the threads of the sleeve cap to make it the correct size and pin the sleeve to the armhole right sides together. I make sure that notch 7 matches up and that the notches for the sleeve cap and shoulder seam match up. I stitch the sleeve cap, neaten the allowance together, and press the seam towards the sleeve. Last step, the hem and snap buttons. I neaten the hem allowance, press it to the wrong side, and top stitch it 3.5 centimeters from the edge. I attach the facing to the hem of the coat and the shoulder seams with a few stitches by hand. Now I place the top part of the snap button on the right front piece and the lower part of the button on the left front piece. Now you can close the buttons. And that's it! This lovely fall or winter coat is finished. Our models come in several versions and can be made from size 34 to 44. Don't forget to watch the second tutorial for this magazine, which shows you how to sew the 3B flared pants model. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. As for me, I'll see you soon for our next models. Burda Style would like to thank and recommend its partners Elna and C. Polly. Thank you for following us and see you soon for a new Burda Style tutorial.